Hello, my name is Hillary Rogers. This is a professional development video on how to use the smartboard with a math lesson that's already for us on the smartboard. I already pre-downloaded for us, so it would be ready for our video. And it's right here. So today we're going to discuss area of a square for 6th grade students. It has the objectives already written for us on here. Number 1 is to learn how to calculate the area of a square. And number 2 is to practice calculating the area of real-life objects. Also, if you notice on the smartboard, it has notes for the lesson that you can click on. And it says a few things about the activity. It tells you how you can differentiation. Pages 2 to 6 on the lesson itself are for visual learners. It also has page 6 of the lesson for kinesthetic learners. So students that like to be active, the smartboard is great at getting them up and active. Visual learners, they can see it. The smartboard with other lessons also has some great ways to differentiate your lesson auditorially, so that students can hear different videos and songs. But our lesson today is for visual and kinesthetic learners. We can go back. It also has notes for the teacher. And under the notes for the teacher, it has the teacher's notes, the subject, the topic, which is measurement, the title, the grades for grades 6 or 7. And if it is cross-curricular, it lets you know, along with prior knowledge needed. And last is intended learning outcomes. And today, our intended learning outcomes is to learn how to calculate the area of a square. Also in the lesson, we're going to apply it to real-life objects. So to start out, you have all your different pages to go through with your students. So I'm going to go through them with you. You can either click the pages, or you can use the arrows right here to click next. I'm a little bit shorter, so I use the arrows right down here. So the first slide, your students are all in class. You're about to start discussing how to get the area of a square, or any object for that matter. Usually you start out with a square. So your question for the day is, what is area? Your students might not know what area is. They might not have heard of it yet. And so the first thing is they might have a worksheet, and you can tell them to fill in the area of the shapes below. You might want to have students come up and use the markers to draw wherever they think the area is. If they think it's the outside, if maybe they don't know what the area is. If you get a student that already knows the area, you might get them to color in the area for you actually. Once you get a few students to come up and do what they think is area on the different shapes, you can actually show the answer to them by pulling down right here where it says area is the amount of space inside of a shape. So that's a really great way to get students interacting right from the beginning of your lesson with the smartboard. Our next slide is the area of a square is found by multiplying the base by the height. So now you can tell them how to find the area once they know what the area is. Here is a picture of a square, clearly labeled with the height and the base. And at the bottom, the formula for finding it. Base times height equals area of a square squared, because anything with area is going to be squared. The next slide is an actual video here where you can show the area of a square is found by multiplying the base by the height. Here it shows 3 centimeters on both sides. You can hit the play button, and the smartboard will take 3, put it over the base, and put the multiplication sign, and then drag 3 centimeters over the height, and then put the equal sign, and 3 times 6 is 9 centimeters squared, and that is the area of that square. The next slide that smartboard has for us is practice. You can have students come up and participate in this practice. You can have them do it at their desk. Some smartboards come with a device for the students to fill in, and then you at your computer can see what the students wrote in for an answer. So for this one, it has 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 1, and 3. This one is kind of cool because you have the ruler. You can move the ruler around to measure. First, let's measure this square. Line it up, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that the height is 4. Ooh, sorry. You have to be sure to put your pens down when you want to move your ruler. And we know that we're looking at squares, so whatever the height is, the base should be the same thing. So the base is also 4. So to get the area, we would do 4 times 4 equals, and what, does anyone know what 4 times 4 is out there? It's 16. And I believe that this is in inches, so we're going to put inches. So it's 16 inches squared. And also, if you didn't want to go through all the problems, if you had the students do it on their own, we have this nifty thing over here. It says, drag this to the target to reveal the answers. Before I drag it, let's delete this. To delete easier, you draw a circle around what you want to be deleted, and then tap it. So that way we get rid of our mess. So now we're going to drag the answers over. Drag this to the target, and it tells us the answers. 16 units squared. So we were right. Congratulations, everyone. And then it goes by each individual shape. The next slide that we have is for students to calculate the area of the squares described below. And some of the examples that we have here are height of 5 centimeters with width of 5 centimeters. So base times height, 5 times 5 is, and you could have a student come up and they could do 5 times 5 equals 25. And they could write the answer right there. And before, if you want to have another student come up for the next one, you could delete this here, and they can do the next problem. The next area is we want to apply this to students in real life. So it's find square-shaped items in your classroom and calculate their area. So you can have students around the classroom take a break, stand up, begin to stretch, get ready out there, have them with their rulers go around the classroom, measure their notebooks, if they have any square notebooks, or any other classroom materials, maybe a box you have, the end of a box. And then you can have students love coming up to the board. You can have a student come up to record the items, and Johnny can write notebook. And whatever the base is, he can write it was 8 inches. And because it's 8 inches and it's square, the other side is also 8 inches. So we can do 8 inches by 8 inches equals, and it's going to be, does anyone know what 8 times 8 is? You're not sure? We'll have to ask our kids to do it. You could have another student come up and fill in the answer for you the rest of the way. You can continue filling this out and based on all the different things that your students measured. The next slide that this comes with is the following pages are answers to the activities above. So if after all of your students if they did those on their own, you could go through the answers with them on this page, and it shows different answers to things that we did before. So that is a lesson in a box straight out of Smartboard. In addition, they have other lessons for quizzes. If you want to do simple quizzes that are already in Smartboard, watch my next video on questions about the area of a rectangle next. Thank you.